Hey guys, today I'm sharing with you my homemade KFC mashed potatoes, the smoothest, creamiest mashed potatoes ever. Blessed and grateful to God for recipes like this, guys, because I tell you, one day you walk in a kitchen and then you just got this recipe like that. It is amazing. Let's start off with some russet potatoes here. I have 4 medium to large size russet potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and wash, peel, and have these nice and clean. And these are really, they're kind of like between medium and large. They're definitely not extra large sized. And we're going to go ahead and start cutting these up. So after I peel them and clean them, we're going to cut this up into really small pieces. Really small, like about 1/2 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I mean, they don't all have to be the same size, but we want them to be really nice and cut into small, teeny tiny pieces. About 1 inch, 1/2 of an inch or so. So after I finish cutting all of my potatoes up, we're going to go start putting this whole thing together, and we're going to start off by flavoring our water. Now I have some water here, and what I'm going to use is a chicken bouillon cube. We want to boil our potatoes in some flavor. We want to start off our base with some flavor. What you can use is vegetable stock, chicken stock, beef stock, whatever stock you have in hand. I always just have chicken bouillon cubes, so I like to use the water in the chicken bouillon cube. You want to go ahead and break up your chicken bouillon cube and get it in the water. As it heats up, it's gonna, dissolve into the water. So my heat is on medium high. I'm gonna go ahead and place in my potatoes and let them boil away. You want to have these boil for about 35 minutes or so. It's really important that these really take a long time to boil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little stir. So all of those, you want those chicken bouillon cubes or chicken stock, whatever you're using, to go through all of the potatoes and everything. Let it boil for about 35 to 40 minutes until super tender. Just check on it every so often. Really don't have to stir it or anything. Just let it do its thing. And then after that 30-40 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and drain all of that liquid out. Place them back into my pot. I'm going to get an old handy dandy potato masher, and we're just going to go ahead and mash our potatoes really well. So after we've mashed all of our potatoes, I'm going to turn my heat back on to about medium-low heat and push all of my potatoes to the side of my pot, so I create a little well in the center of my pot. To that, I'm going to add in some cream cheese. Better if it's softened at room temperature. Mine wasn't, but hey, what you gonna do? Also going to add in some unsalted butter. You can also use salted. It really doesn't have to be unsalted. I'm going to wait for these to kind of melt down. I'm adding in some whole milk. All the amounts will be listed below in the description box. I'm going to add in a dash of black pepper. Now our potatoes were boiling in the chicken bouillon cube, so it does have sodium in that already, but we do want to make sure that this is also seasoned. What I have here is some celery salt. This really adds that flavor that you really get in a KFC mashed potatoes, and that is why I added in this particular mashed potatoes as opposed to my regular mashed potatoes. My bottle's almost done because I make this so many times. I can't believe I haven't shared this recipe before, but wait for those things to melt down. We're going to add in our celery salt. Add in a good dash of that. Now this is salt as well, so you don't want to add in too much because it can make it overly salty. I am going to mix all of those things together, combine everything together, potatoes, milk, butter, cream cheese, etc. Now at this point you can leave it as is, but it's not going to be perfectly smooth. What you can do is take your potato masher and remash the potatoes with the milk and the butter. At this point, with the extra liquid in there, it's really going to smoothen things out. As you can tell, if you take the potato masher, it's just going to be really nice and smooth and creamy. But because KFC's mashed potato has a particularly smooth consistency and texture, I'm pulling out my handy dandy immersion blender for this, okay? If you don't have one, just use the potato masher like I showed you earlier. But this is really going to give it that really really smooth consistency. You can also use a food processor or maybe a blender and just pulse it for a little bit, not too much because we're not trying to make soup. But as you can see, I'm just running this through on a low speed and just going it 1 or 2 times just to make sure it is super de-duper smooth. And there you have it, guys. The smoothest mashed potatoes, flavored beautifully with that chicken stock and the celery salt and everything. I'm going to plate this up. As it cools, it will thicken up even more. I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of cilantro leaves because, you know, hey, it's YouTube, right? That's what you got to do, make it look pretty. But all the amounts will be listed below in the description box for you guys. I hope that you give this recipe a try. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye now.